And that's how I stopped the chipmunk uprising. They were really coming for the house, but I was able to finally stop them and take back control of my yard.
Sharp teeth. Those things got sharp teeth.
Yeah, well, I do not, because they're murderous villains who form coups against you.
All right, well, that was quite the story. Welcome to the newest episode of Totally True Tales to Tell Together, the improv storytelling podcast where everything is true, no matter whether it is or not. I am your host, Carson, along with Alex and Sarah.
With Gucci.
No.
And today, it's my turn to tell a story. So if you're not aware, if you're just tuning in for the first time, each week one of us is tasked with telling a story from our life, or rather an exaggerated version of our life. But as we all know, when we're around the campfire, everything we say is 100% true. So I am today's storyteller, and I will pick from the literal hat of story prompts. And today, I will be telling you the story. Did I ever tell you about the time I played professional hockey?
No, you did not, honestly.
This is an interesting one. Of course. So, as you know, I got into hockey probably about a decade ago, a little late to it, because I was a big baseball fan,
of course,
growing up, and I played baseball when I was younger. But when I was like 12 or 13, probably, I got a pair of ice skates, and so I learned to skate, and I started watching hockey after that. I'm a big Boston Bruins fan. I'm a big Boston sports, everything.
I mean, I have to stop you and boo you for a second here. So, boo, go Hurricanes! But
your team used to be in Hartford, Connecticut. Shut up.
Yeah, well, it's not now. So, no.
In any case, I've never been the world's greatest skater, but I got pretty good. Just mostly to sort of keep in shape, just as like exercise, really. But I've been watching hockey for quite a few years now, and I get to a game every once in a while, get to an actual hockey game. And 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago, actually, I was in Boston, and I had a few hours to kill, and it turned out that Bruins were doing their practice, and they practice at Warrior Ice Arena. It's not the TD Garden where they play. And they do like open practice where like not like people can practice with them, but
they can watch.
You can go watch, yeah. And so I decided I would go just see what's going on. So I get tickets and I watch the practice. It's interesting to see them go through their drills because you don't really see that in game. And
at this point, you've never played any organized hockey?
I have not.
Okay, you just skated for fitness.
Yeah, like I
practiced on your own.
Yeah, like I mess around with a hockey stick and puck. I've got a net that I shoot at, but it's not. I would never consider myself really ready to play any sort of professional hockey, even like lower league.
Right.
But so I'm at this practice, and like they get all done, and they're starting to. Like the players are heading out, and so I try to get some autographs. There's some players I really like in the Bruins, especially Patrice Bergeron, and so I tried to get some autographs, and they wouldn't really let people in where like the players were walking out, but I did see a door. I saw a door labeled private, no entrance, but there wasn't anyone guarding the door. So I went, and I figured it would probably be locked anyway.
Now, and of course, I assume this door had some sort of mystic glow coming out from behind it to like indicate you should go there.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just the sign.
So it's not quite as fun as like a movie door. It's just like a door.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Just the sign saying private, no public entrance.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not locked, which is probably an oversight from someone.
The sign wasn't enough then.
Yeah. So I went to the door. And that was just sort of one long hallway with a few doors on either side, and none of them were labeled, but I just picked one at random. It was like the third door on the right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually like right into the coach's office.
Nice.
So he was there. He was a little surprised, but I'm kind of just like I open the door and I'm just kind of not really starstruck. I'm just like, I like freeze. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed. I already knew I was not supposed to be there, but I'm really not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So he kind of looks up from his desk and he's like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I was just traded from the Avalanche. Their AHL team. I was just traded from them. I'm the new player."
Of course. And
And I'm not even thinking at this point because this is such a bald-faced lie. I just had to come up with something in the moment, and apparently he didn't know of any trade, but
we just bought it hook, line, and sinker.
he was sort of in the middle of something else, so he said, "Okay, just go down to the equipment room. They'll get you sorted out." So
Interesting.
I'm like, okay. So he sort of points me in the right direction. I go. Now, mind you, I am not a tall person, and most NHL players are taller than I.
A real Tory Krug type.
Yeah, like, I would stand out. So they were definitely, in the equipment room, they were definitely surprised. They didn't believe me at first. But I managed to sort of keep lying my way into everything. So they hooked me up with a jersey. I got number 72.
Ooh, so close to
So
yours.
close. So close to the best number.
I don't think the league allows that number, actually.
Guaranteed they do.
I was thinking your college number, not that number.
In any case, they hooked me up with all that. I got a stick, and so I leave. Like, practice is over at this point, but I sort of leave. But they say, the next practice is the next day, so to be back there at 5 a.m.
Oh, that's awful.
It's early. Yeah. It's real early. And so I show up at 5, and at this point, I cannot believe that I have not been found out. Surely word has gotten around to someone that the Avalanche had not traded someone.
Yeah.
As it turns out, they had, and that guy got horribly lost.
Yeah.
That's a story for a different day. They had to go out and find him.
And you had nothing to do with that, right?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, it was
This is not some
You
sort of
had no
elaborate
idea.
crime you've committed.
No, I had no idea. It just happened to work out.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, but I get all my pads on, and I'm in the locker room with all these guys, and we're yoking it up. I mean, we're having fun. I'm getting to meet all these players, these my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. I'm just using what little hockey knowledge I have to kind of get by in conversation.
Now, what position were you lying and saying that you played?
Left wing.
Oh, really? So all speed based then?
Yes.
Not going for a big. You're not a heavy checking defenseman coming in there.
I'm not a big dude.
You didn't want to, or you could be ooh, I'm a goalie, so maybe.
I probably should have gone goalie, but the guy that was traded was a left winger, so that's who I am.
So they just told you, so it wasn't you had come up with. Okay, see, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's that would have been a coincidence on an incredibly impressive guess to just hold that also.
Yeah. And so I just I went through the motions. I mean, a lot of the early stuff in practice is just, stretching and skating around. So you can kind of get by with that. And then we start doing, passing drills and stuff. And so we're going. I get on the left side, on the left wing. And as it turns out, I'm not as bad as I thought I was. I actually start doing pretty well. Like I said, I'm a decent skater. I don't go back all that well, which means I probably wouldn't have been a good defenseman. I wouldn't have been a convincing defenseman anyway. But going forward, I can get going. I can skate. And practice actually went pretty well. All things considered, I figure I at least deserved to stay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And so we get all done. Practice that day is done. I'm tired. I did well, but that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work in one day, especially for someone who has never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beat, but a few of the boys were going out that night because we didn't have practice or a game the next night. So they were just going out, get some drinks or whatever.
Party up in Boston.
And they asked if I wanted to go along. I
Nice.
said, absolutely. So we go out in the town. We go to a couple different places. Now, I don't really drink.
Mm-hmm.
I just never really got the taste of alcohol. But so I decided that I'd say, hey, I'll be the driver, right? You guys party up as much as you want. I'll be there too, but
Yeah.
But I'll make sure you guys get home safe.
Mm-hmm.
Had a blast.
Yeah.
Best night ever. Those hockey players, they could party.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
They're probably good wing men too. For each other.
They're also all nerdy.
Wordplay!
Well, yeah, they would be a good wingman for you.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm a really good wingman, so I would know.
I mean, you're not.
Categorically, she's the worst wingman to have ever existed. We're stepping outside the bit for a moment. Terrible. Now back.
Anyway, I wake up the next morning, right? Now, like I say, I didn't party all that hard. I didn't, drink or anything, but just the combination of the practice that day and then going out a bunch of different places, I could barely move. I could barely roll out of bed that day.
Yeah, I bet.
So I spent that whole day sitting in my bathtub. And just sitting in the bathtub, and I alternated going hot, as hot as possible, and then I Uber Eats. I don't know how that works.
DoorDashed.
Sure.
They paid us money. DoorDash.
Just bags of ice so I could do ice bath,
Mm-hmm.
and just that was my entire day the next day.
Fair.
Because there was a game the next day.
Ooh, who were you playing?
We were playing the Penguins.
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
those
yeah.
guys suck.
I love it.
And I was in the line, or rather, the guy I was portraying was in the lineup.
Oh, so he's still lost at this point.
Yeah.
He's been lost for upwards of 3 days now.
Yeah.
Wow, he's really got lost.
Yeah, apparently.
Impressive.
Yeah, that was actually a really interesting story. Him once
I bet.
they found him and I had to skip town, but
Yeah.
so game was at 7, so I had to be there 5 p.m. this evening. So I get to the locker room and I'm putting my pads on. I'm talking it up with the boys. Coach comes in, gives his pre-game speech. How we're gonna do everything, and there's always the starting lineup, the guys who are gonna be on the ice at puck drop, and it was my line that night, which was great.
Wow, were you top line, or were you more down with the grinders? They just decided to start.
It was third line. Third line, yeah. But so not only was I in the game, I was in the game to start, and I was out on the ice for all of the anthem and stuff, which was really cool. So they do the whole, you skate out there, you warm up and stuff, do the whole anthem, and then it's puck drop, and I am super nervous because I am sort of waiting for the play to start. I'm not taking the face off, that's center, but I'm there waiting, and there's just this 6'2" hockey player just next to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5'11", so it's not crazy, but he's taller and bigger than me. He's definitely bigger. And they drop the puck. It goes out to the right winger. I take one step in towards the play, immediately get flattened.
Yeah.
Just right off the rim.
That's unfortunate.
And I'm just sort of laying on the ice. And they blow the whistle. Trainer comes out. I'm not even really sure where I am. They say I got a concussion. I believe them.
I'm glad we're believing doctors here. That's a good policy to take.
Didn't have to get stretchered off, thankfully, but I did have to get helped off the ice. And just immediately went to the hospital just to deal with this concussion there. So technically I was in the game.
There you go.
Technically I played played
a
I
second
say
of
it
professional
counts.
hockey. It definitely counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that you stole somebody's name, so probably it doesn't super like it counts for you, but like probably not in like the NHL record books.
Yeah, so it was actually went to the hospital. I got discharged that day. It was a mild concussion. I didn't have to stay overnight.
Mhm.
But so I went back to my place, and I woke up the next morning, headache, obviously.
Of course.
But I turned on the news, and the story was all over that this guy had been found.
Mhm.
And so I look at my phone, and I've got hundreds of messages from various people. That's scary.
Yeah.
So I turned off my phone. I actually broke my phone in half just out of sheer nervousness.
Mhm.
I'm figuring I'm going to jail. So I pack up everything I can fit into my luggage, and I just hightailed it out of there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. What city did you go to? Like, where's like the most safe city from Boston? You think?
I went down to Florida.
Oh, yeah, the land of people hiding from the law. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured I could just kind of disappear
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Florida, man.
Yeah, you could just say that you were eaten by a gator.
Well, I just went to the courts and changed my name.
That's fair.
So no one knows. But I mean, it's sort of one of those weird stories about that guy that just randomly got picked up by an NHL team and
That guy who
was on the ice.
the guy who assumed an actual NHL player's identity and fooled an entire organization for
Yeah.
It's an impressive story.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those stories that's told in the same breath about the guy that got traded for a bus. But so if anyone comes asking about potential identity theft accusations, there, you don't know me.
Yeah, we don't know you. We have no idea who you are.
So where are you?
Exactly.
Boom.
But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
It's 100% true.
Do you have a witness? And can you prove it?
We're at the fireplace. We are at the campfire. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bearing my story.
Lovely story.
It's a great
Listening to my story. Thank you, everyone listening at home, for listening to the podcast. Tell everyone you know. Be that annoying friend.
Yeah.
And tell them that you can find us on Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us at our website, t6pod.com. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Ben.